everyone. Ben Coleman here, one of your many hosts for the Florida Aviation Network. We're coming to you live and in the clear from the Sebring Regional Airport, and this is the terminal. We're set up here in the terminal, and right across from the Runway Cafe, and we have a number of countless folks here for the Sport Aviation Expo 2019. We're here every year, and we're here to talk to folks that are in the industry, the shakers, the movers, and for the purpose of safety. That's our underpinning score, is safety, and it's to educate, innovate, and aviate. All of our volunteers here on the set are helping put this on, and we're here for our guest. And right now, our guest happens to be Mr. Severen, Scott Severen. Scott?
How you doing? Good to see you again.
You as well. Hold that mic up to your mouth there and tell us,
Alrighty.
Scott, about a little bit about, I think you know something about the Jabiru engine.
Oh,
Anything about the Jabiru?
well, sure. The Jabiru in Australia is a unique manufacturer. You may know they manufacture not only an engine but an aircraft and then private label a propeller as well. So unique to manufacture the engine, the airframe, the whole power plant, the whole flying package.
Well, and I bet you probably have one out here on the flight line that we can all go out and take a look at.
Well, we got a few Jabiru aircraft here on the field, flown in from Texas and Jacksonville, Texas, Jacksonville, Florida, and they're wonderful little, very capable light sport aircraft. As the aircraft side of it, powered by the Jabiru engine, which is 120 horsepower, 6-cylinder air-cooled direct drive engine, which is an engine that a lot of people are drawn to because of its simplicity and real conventional, traditional nature.
And the 6-cylinder version, Scott, it's got to be smooth. I've never flown behind a Jabiru, but I've heard a lot of really, really good, smooth stories about the Jabiru.
Well, how can it not be smooth with 6 cylinders? You can set a nickel or a quarter up on the side of the wing with the engine running, and it pretty much stays there.
A bunch of little pistons going back and forth, and probably the way that you've got it sequenced in there, it causes that nice smooth transition and vibration down to a minimum, and almost has turbine-like qualities. I've heard that before.
Terrific. I'd love to have a turbine in the Jabiru, but it is very, very smooth. You bet. If we can get that sound going, that'll be a start, and then we'll pour a little kerosene in there so it will smell like we were flying a turbine and everything.
Well, you can put a little bit behind your ear, a little bit
aviator's cologne.
Jet A. Yeah.
You better believe it.
But as far as the balancing with your Jabiru engine, Jabiru prop on a Jabiru engine mount, what can you do to get the performance of that engine just smoothed out? To use a Chadwick, to use a vibration, what kind of IPS are you running on your
if you just use the aircraft, use the engine according to the operator's manual, it runs great. You don't need to do anything special, add anything, just an approved propeller, which is the Jabiru, and Sensenich makes the propeller, a couple of propellers that are approved. And
they're all 3-blade?
2-blade.
2 blades.
You bet.
You bet. Would a 3rd blade change the dynamics a little bit?
Well, actually it might slow the airplane down. Oftentimes the need to use a 3-blade is if you've got a restriction on length, if you need to go to 3 blades. But we don't have that restriction on the Jabiru, so we can go on and use a 2-blade propeller. The bigger the disc area, typically the more efficient the disc loading is for the propeller, and there are cases where you can certainly go faster with a 3-bladed propeller, I suppose, but generally a 2-blade is most efficient. Also, you need to match the correct propeller on the Jabiru aircraft to keep it within the light sport parameters. In Australia, the aircraft fly a little bit faster and a higher gross weight. But in order for them to fit into the light sport aircraft parameter, they've got to be detuned a little bit so that they fit the regulations, so that it makes a viable product here in the United States.
I imagine you could blow out the speed envelope quite easily with that.
Well, perhaps. Probably more important that I've heard customers interested in, and the flying public is gross weight. We all want to put everything we can in back and go along in the Jabiru. as you recall, is a 4-seat aircraft in Australia, and to make it fit into the light sport category, the gross rate is dropped down on paper from 1,540 pounds to the light sport requirement for 1,320 pounds, and the 2 back seats are taken out. The good side of that is you still have that giant third door that was designed for people to crawl inside and out of, so it gives you a great access to baggage and storage that you put back there.
Cargo door.
You better believe it.
And but I can't imagine anybody flying the aircraft over the light sport gross weight.
Well, no, you absolutely shouldn't. In the United States, the airplane may not be aware of what country it's flying in, but I guarantee you the regulator, the FAA, and the insurance company, and the judge, doggone well know what country the airplane's flying in. So we certainly don't advocate that here in the States. However, in other countries, the aircraft is certified to a higher gross weight, and they, of course, take advantage of those.
Well, Scott, I'm an old Piper guy.
All right.
And there's an old adage about the Aztec, otherwise known as the Az truck. And people will say, well, how much does it carry? He says, if you can get it in the door, it'll carry it. But how about blowing your gross weight? If you can get it in the door, you can carry it. So how much of that has transferred over to that mindset of the Jabiru? If you get it in the cargo department and you're not out of your aft limit,
Sure.
it'll carry it.
Well, the wonderful thing about the Jabiru is designed for a couple of people back there, so it's pretty hard to go aft of your limit. And here in the United States, and anywhere on the planet, I wouldn't advocate anyone flying beyond the regulation. And I will say I'm amazed at the things I've seen put in the back of a Jabiru. I've thought many times about putting on our website pictures of hay bales, of course, of the two 100-pound Labrador retrievers. The calves, I'm talking the child of a cow, calves, wind generator engines, automobile transmissions. I can't believe the kinds of things I've seen in the back in a pack full of square bales of hay. Oh my goodness.
Don't try this at home, folks.
Don't do this at home.
No.
They do this just for pictures, right? They don't fly with it. They just
Of course.
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't. But Scott, we and again from a safety standpoint, we're very cognizant here at Florida Aviation Network that what's the phrase? I guess it's flight safety.
You bet.
The best safety device in any cockpit is a well-trained
pilot. I'm thinking.
I mean, we can have all the engineering and the technical ability and new technology, but all that goes out the window when we lose that connection between and the Jabiru. We got a stick.
Got a stick.
Between the stick and the seat.
Yeah.
Use that connection and you lost it all.
You better. I mean, that's what the manuals are for. I'm a big believer in manuals. I'm an AMP as well, although I don't exercise that a whole lot. But you go by the maintenance manual, right? You go by overhaul manuals, and you go by POHs. All these documents are drafted and composed for a reason, and so that we know how to use the equipment. And so it's real important to understand what the limitations are on the equipment you're using and follow those. And with that, then you create a safe environment.
Sure. And we've all seen the folks that come in and, like you say, they put all that cargo in there just for photographs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But when they come in and hey, I just came back 150 pounds over gross. Good for you, Scott. If you're going to be stupid, you got to be tough. And what do you mean by that? Got to be tough. Got to be willing for the fallout if something goes wrong.
That's exactly right. You got to be able to answer to the judge. How was it that you knew this was the right thing to do when all the manual said you shouldn't do that?
Yeah. Let's keep it safe. I want to go out on the flight line. We're going to wrap this interview up.
Terrific.
Because I want to get out there and take a look at the Jabiru.
That sounds great.
And the Jabiru engine, the Jabiru aircraft, and the Jabiru propeller.
Terrific.
Is there anything else the Jabiru makes?
Not yet. It is a bird in Jabiru,
Okay,
but the company doesn't make the bird.
Okay, all right. That's a great one. But we are going to go out and take a look at the Jabiru, and thank you so much for your time here, Scott.
It's a pleasure.
We'll do it again someday. Right. Let's do it next year.
Let's do it.
I'm Ben Coleman. We are going. Oh, this is live. Did I tell you this was live? And we're going to go. There we are with another fine interview with one of our manufacturer reps, And Ben Coleman, one of your hosts. Let's go to the flight line. See you the next interview.